Welcome back to Sarah's computer sessions. I hope that you have watched my last session on control statements. It was just an introduction. So in this session, let's see what test expressions are and how can they be evaluated and to what values are they evaluated. Let's move on to the video. So let's see what test expressions or test conditions are for selection and iteration. Expressions that control the flow of execution through a control statement is known as test expression. So in the last session, I had actually taken an example of a daily routine and had explained the different sequences that are possible in a general daily routine of almost everyone. I mean, school or college going students. So in those examples, I had taken conditions and applied it to make decisions. So in those conditions, I had used certain situations like if it is a vacation, if it is not a vacation, if you have to submit assignment, you do one thing. If you don't have to submit assignments, you do one thing, like stuffs like that. And even I had explained the kind of simple repetition that comes in a morning routine for a school or college going student. So if you have not watched my last session, please go and watch it. You'll get a better idea of test expression when I explain it here. Okay. So basically, the conditions that I had given there in a general daily routine example, if see, instead of those conditions, when it comes to programming methodology or when you are going to write programs, what will you give for a condition to be checked? Yes, obviously you give expressions. Like what are expressions then? When in your programming, whatever data you use in a program is actually represented by using a variable, right? So either a single variable can be considered as a condition checking factor or a condition checker, or a collection of variables can be taken and a condition can be checked. So basically, even if it is a single variable or if it is a collection of variables, we just call it as generally as an expression or a test expression. So in programming, while you do a program, if you have to check something, if you have to decide on to which action the program should follow after a condition checking, that particular expression should be a collection of variables and obviously operators. Okay, so let's see the different kinds of expressions that usually come along with a conditional statement or a control statement. First one that I have shown here is the arithmetic expression. It's like a plus b, we all know, like you. A relational expression, obviously it holds relational operators and a set of variables. Logical expression can be see double ampersand symbol for the logical and obviously a compound expression. Here you can see that different expressions are combined and logical operator or is being used in this example. I hope that you know what logical operators are. You might have studied truth tables. You might have written truth tables for different Boolean expressions, right? So and means like both the left hand side and the right hand side operands should be true for a logical and to give a result as true. And if it is an or, a logical or, the either of the either the left hand side or the right hand side operand value or expression value should result in a true for the logical or to give a final true as an answer. So I hope that you know all those things, and I'm just moving forward, assuming that you know what logical operators are and what result the logical operators give. Okay, so let's consider these three values for the variables a, b, and c. A equal to 5, B equal to 0, and C equal to 7. Okay, now let's take these values and calculate the values of the expression that you can see here above. Okay, so the first thing is a plus b. What is the value of a? 5. And what is the value of b? 0. So 5 plus 0 will give you a 5. So when you are getting 5 for a plus b, that means you are getting a positive value, right? So in most compilers, positive value is considered to be true. Okay, so if you get or evaluate an expression and you or the compiler gets a true value, then that means that that particular decision uh, or that particular condition that you have checked at that instance has given you a true value. Okay, so I'll get into the details of the true and false stuff later, but just now, as of now, we can just implement these examples in the above shown expressions. Okay, so the next one is relational expression. Let's see. The value of a is 5 and the value of b is 0. So 5 less than 0. Is 5 less than 0? No, 5 is not less than 0. We all know that. Okay. So when this particular expression will be evaluated, since 5 is not less than 0, it will evaluate to a false value. Okay. Coming to the logical expression, yes, the value of a is 5 and the value of variable b is 0. So as I had mentioned earlier, since it is a logical AND, here in programming, in C programming, the AND, logical AND is represented using double ampersand symbol, and the logical OR is represented using double lines. Okay. So I know that I've not taken sessions on operators as such, just because it's easy and most of you know about that. That's why I just skipped those, but I will be taking it sometime later. But now, as of now, just understand that logical AND is represented using double ampersand and logical OR is represented using this particular operator here. So, okay, let's see the logical expression evaluation, how it, what value it will evaluate. Here A is given 5 and B is given 0. So since it is a logical AND, the principle behind logical AND is that both parties, that's the left hand side and the right hand side, should hold a positive value. I mean like a non-zero positive value. So since here the one side, the value of b is 0, this will evaluate to false because both left hand side and right hand side does not hold a non-zero value because b is holding a 0 value, so it will evaluate to false. Now let's move on to the compound expression. We'll just give the values. Yes, a greater than b, 5 is greater than 0, or a greater than c. Now the value of c is 7 and we clearly know that 5 is not greater than 0. So that particular portion, that is the second expression that comes along with this OR operator, results in a false. Okay, but since the first operator, that is this particular operator, results in a true, you will get the final result as true. Either one should be true for the logical OR operator. Okay, but on the contrary, for the logical AND, both sides should result in a non-zero value for the result to be evaluated to true. Here, the result has evaluated to false because one side holds a 0 value. I hope that you understood this example. Let's move on to the next slide. So the expression result, the expression, or more specifically test expressions that we use along with the control statements, can result in any of the two values, either a true or a false. Therefore, text expression that comes along with the control statements can therefore be called as a Boolean expression, because in Boolean expression we have only two states, right? Either a true state or a false state. So the same happens when we use expressions within control statements to check conditions. Okay. So I hope that you understood what text expression is and how compiler actually evaluates the text expression and takes a decision on to what step to be taken next after the condition is being checked. Okay, so here this is a sample program to check how true and false value is represented. See, it starts with hash include stdio.h, and you have a main function wherein which a variable is being assigned, directly assigned the value 3. And in the print statement, I am going to print the status of a condition or an expression. Okay, so here you can see that in the printf statement I've given a greater than 3, right? And a return statement 0, a return 0 statement, since the return type of the main function is int. So is a greater than 3? The value of a is 3. So when you replace the a that's given along with the print statement by the value 3, is 3 greater than 3? Yes or no? Clearly no. 3 is not greater than 3. 3 should be equal to 3, right? So since the answer is no, the compiler will evaluate this particular expression to false, and the output will be displayed as 0. You can give this simple program in your IDE and check for the result. The output will be 0. Okay. So moving on to another example here. The value of a, or a is being assigned directly a value 3, and it is checked whether a is greater than 2, that is 3 is greater than 2. Is a greater than 2? Yes or no? Yes, a is obviously greater than 2 when we actually apply the value of a to that particular expression, a greater than 2. 3 is greater than 2, and therefore you get a true. This expression will be evaluated to a true state, and the output will be 1. Okay, so people who are listening to me, students, please try the simple example in your IDE and make yourself confident on how to write test expressions and what the text expression value will be. You have to understand, when you write a program and you write a text expression inside a control statement, you as a programmer should be confident enough to know what will this text expression evaluate to, either a true or a false. Then only you will be able to write proper code for a proper solution. Okay, so these are the relational operators that are available in C to specify test conditions. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to is represented like this. Less than, greater than or equal to is represented like this. Yes, this is some of the equality and logical operators and the symbols used. Equal to. If you have to check whether a is equal to 3, you have to give a double equal to inside the control statement. If a equal to 3, if you give a single equal to, it's just gonna assign that value to the variable a. Okay. If you have doubts, you can just write simple programs as you saw in my previous slides and check for the evaluation results that the compiler will give you. Not equal to is like an exclamation mark and an equal to. Logical AND is double ampersand. I had mentioned this earlier. Logical OR is double vertical strikes, and the negation, not symbol. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Here you can see this is an exercise for you. So please do this, okay, in your IDE. Try it with printf statements as I have shown you in the previous two examples here in the slide, right? So similar to those examples, use just the printf statement to evaluate the result of all these test expressions. Okay, so for the particular values, a equal to 4, b equal to 2, and c equal to 6. So I hope that you'll do this and make yourself confident on test expression. So that's all for today. Hello, I hope that you understood how to write test expressions and what are the different operators that come along with the test expressions and how are they evaluated, to what values are they evaluated, and all. I hope that you will be doing the exercise that I have provided along with this session in the last slide. So if you have any queries, any suggestions, please let me know. My email ID will be displayed here. So that's all for today. In the next session, I'll be starting the selection statements right away. So please like, share, and subscribe if you truly find this session useful. So thank you and God bless you.